So inshallah we're going to start. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So we will be learning 3 ayats of Surah AlFurqan today. Ayat number 67, 68 and 69. So we'll do a simple translation first and then we'll go into the details. So the ayat 67 starts. It's connected with the previous ayats where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning about Ibadur Rahman, those people who are slaves or servants or worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in these ayats the qualities of Ibadur Rahman, those who are worshippers, slaves, servants, they obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely in their life. So these are some of the qualities that we continue. So the translation will be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and this is about the Ibadur Rahman, Walladina, and those people, or it is those people, Idha anfaqu, when they spend their wealth or their money, lam yusrifu, walam yaqturu. So these two words are the opposite. Lam yusrifu, they do not spend to the extent that they are actually wasting the money or their resources. On the other hand, walam yaqturu, and then they are not holding it back to the point that it is miserliness. Allah says, Wakana baina zalika qawama. It is in between those two extreme limits that they spend their resources, their wealth for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a balance, there is a moderate way of spending their wealth. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next ayat again talks about Walladina, those are the people, the Ibadur Rahman. La yad'una, they do not call, they do not invoke. Ma'allahi, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ilahan akhara, any other deity or any other God. Then another quality Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, Wala yaqtuluna nafsallati, they do not kill a person, Harram Allah, that Allah has forbidden that a person should be killed. Illa bil haqqi, except with the truth or what is just. So if the justice has to be done, only then a person can be killed. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the next quality, Wala yaznoon, they do not commit adultery. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that whoever would do all these things which are permitted to do and forbidden to do, among all those things, Allah says, وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ, whosoever would do things like that, يَلْقَى أَثَامًا, he is going to meet the penalty of what he will be judged on the day of judgment, or sometimes in this worldly life also. Then in the next ayat 69, Allah says, Yuda'af lahul adhabu, the punishment for him will be doubled, increased, multiplied. Yawmal qiyamati, on the day of qiyamah, on the day of judgment. Wayakhulud, and he is going to live, he is going to abide, fihi, in this azab, mohana, in a state of humiliation or disgrace. So this is the promise and punishment for those people who either follow or disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we'll go back and do a detailed understanding of these verses, but there are some rules that I want to explain here that will help us understand. So first of all, let's take the typical example of these three letters, Fa, and Lam. And the simple meaning of these three letters which we use for the template is to do. Now, if I want to make the grammar of third person he and present tense or future tense he does, the rule is that we just apply a ya in the beginning of these three letters, which brings the meaning of third person he and present tense or future tense. And then we write them together this way. And then we pronounce as yaf alu. Important thing is that every letter should be pronounced with the correct harakat on that, fataha, and dhamma, kasra, whatever is there. Because if we don't pronounce correctly, then the meaning will change. So the first thing is that he does is bring a ya in the beginning and pronounce as yaf alu. Now, if I add a waw at the end of this thing and add an alif there which is not pronounced, okay. So, but first let's just add a waw, because waw is called waw of a jama. So this is called waw of jama. So what is it doing? It's adding the plurality in this word. So instead of he, it becomes they. And present tense becomes they do or they are doing. Now, so the word is now yaf alu. Yaf alu, but we add a noon at the end, which is not actually part of the plurality with a fataha. And this particular noon is called noon arabi. And there is a reason that it is added. Noon arabi. So what it does, that sometimes we are making a sentence, they do. Sometimes we say they are doing. Sometimes we say they should be doing. They ought to be doing. They can be doing. So when we bring those kind of concepts in the translation, then we play around with this in noon arabi. Sometimes we throw it away. Sometimes we keep it away. Sometimes change the sound of it. So that is the purpose of adding noon arabi. But with this addition, the final word becomes yaf'aluna. That's important. Yaf'aluna means they do or they are doing. Okay? So keep that construct in mind, because it's coming in many times, and we will be playing with this noon arabi, this noon in some of these verses here. So yaf'aluna is the template, and it means plural, they, third person, present tense and future tense. Now, the other thing I want to point it out is that, go back to this word yaf'alu. Yaf'alu, and it means he, third person, and does. Okay. Now, this is just one word, and it's a verbal statement. It has a present tense and a third person. This just a statement, he does. Okay. Now, in Arabic, when we make a conditional statement, condition is a shartiya. Shartiya means if you do this, then that will happen. That is called the shartiya jumla, conditional statement. If I go to college, I will learn. So it's a condition. If I don't go, I will not learn. So for that purpose, whenever we have to make a jumla shartiya, and which is a conditional statement, I'm going to put a word man from there. Okay. Man means whoever. So by just adding this one word, man, I have converted this into a conditional or jumla shartiya. Whoever does. Condition, then there is a jawab-e-shart, response of the condition, something will happen. Okay. So whenever we make a jumla shartiya, a conditional statement, in this case we are putting a man to make sure that this is a Jumla Shartiya, we make one more change. We look at the last letter here and there is a pesh or dhamma. We change this to a sukoon. So now it is not yafalo anymore. And let's see, he goes away. So the meaning is that whoever does something, whoever goes somewhere, that is a conditional shartiya jumla. Man yaf'al, whoever does, then there is a reply of that, something will happen. And so this construct is coming here a few times. So that's very important that in Arabic, even in other languages, a jumla, a statement which is a conditional statement, should have a shart and a jawab shart, which means the response, what will happen if you do, what will happen if you don't do. So keep these two concepts in mind and then we'll proceed with the understanding. So the ayat starts with Walladina. Wow is continuing because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking from the previous ayats about Ibadur Rahman. So Allah is saying, and Allazina, those, and this those is pointing to Ibadur Rahman. Those are the people. They do what else they do. They have, in the previous ayats, Allah has mentioned what they do. He is continuing to tell or talk about Ibadur Rahman. The next word is Ida. And as I mentioned, Ida means when, but this word is used when for future. When something will happen in the future, then we use Iza, or present tense also, or a continuous present going on. So whenever you see the word Iza, the statement after that is going to tell you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about something in the future. Even though this is very powerful word, Iza, if after this there is a past tense, it will pull that past tense into a continuous present and future. So let's look at these two words. This is after these two words. There are two words, but before both of them there is a lam there, and we'll come back to that one. So the first letter has these three letters, Shin, Ra and Fa. And the second three letters is Qaf, Ta and Ra. These have just the opposite meanings. This is three letters, this is three letters, but if I make a four letter and call it Asrafa, the meaning of Asrafa is to spend your wealth in the way that you are actually wasting it. You are throwing away. You are lavishly turning your wealth into useless thing. There is a word in Urdu, israf is zar, where your wealth is being wasted by you by spending in unnecessary things. So asrafa means to spend your wealth to the extent that you are wasting it, throwing away. You're not spending in the right place, in the right cause. This word is the opposite, qatara, only three letters, and qatara means to spend to the point that you're miserly, not spending at all. Wherever it needs to be spent, you're holding it back. You're not spending in the right cause for the right reason, but you are being a miser person. So these two are the opposite words of each other. So first word, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this one, let's make a construct of this word. This means to spend in the way that you're actually wasting, extravagantly. So we want to make the word they are spending uselessly. So we put a ya in the beginning and wuna at the end, as I said, yaf'aluna. And this alif is not used, so you put these three letters and pronounce this one as yusrafuna. Yusrafuna means they, some people, third person, plural, are wasting their wealth extravagantly. They are using it on unnecessary things. So that means it is a present tense yusrafuna. So I'm going to write down this word together. Yusrafuna. Yusrafuna. Now, as I mentioned that, again, this waw is the waw of a plural, and noon is the noon Arabi, which I introduced, that it has a purpose. So this is positive statement, yusrifuna, not yusrafuna, yusrifuna. Now I'm going to put the lam before that. Lam does couple things. Lam makes this statement negative, it pulls into the past tense, and it kills this noon to represent what is happening. So noon Arabi goes away, we just write an extra alif which is not pronounced, so it becomes lam yusrifu. The meaning is that they did not spend, okay, they did not spend in the right place, okay. Lam yusrifu, they did not, it's the past tense now because lam has made it past tense. But the word before that is iza. Iza means when, and iza will pull this into the again future or past tense. So iza lam yusrifu, they do not spend, they are not spending, they will not be spending. But before that, I translate the second word. I want to go back the word after iza, which is anfaqu. So let's understand that word, and then the meaning will become very clear on these two words. The root letters are nafaqa. Nafaqa has multiple meanings, and one of the meaning is to enter into a hole. You dig a hole and you walk into there. Usually a hole, when an animal digs a hole in the ground, it has two mouths in it, two openings. Not just it goes inside and lives, but it has two faces, two mouths of this hole. Because if some animal attacks this animal, like a snake comes in after something, he runs away from the other side. It has two holes and two faces, and that is the definition of the word that comes out of this munafiq. Munafiq is a person who has two faces. He is something inside, some different thing from outside. So that is the root letter of nafaqa. Now, these are three letters, and that means to make a hole or be a munafiq. If I put an alif in the beginning, it becomes a four-letter word. Af'ala, so this becomes anfaqa. Anfaqa has different meanings. Anfaqa means to spend. Okay, infaq fi sabilillah. That is a common word. Spending for the cause of Allah. So anywhere you spend your wealth is anfaqa. This word is used. So if I put fathas on each of them and pronounce anfaqa, the meaning will be he, third person, spent his money or wealth, past tense. Okay. Now, if I put, this is a past tense, remember that. So if I put a waw, this is the waw of plural. So we will be saying anfaqu. Okay, and we write an alif, we don't pronounce. So remember, this is a past tense. In the past tense, we don't put noon Arabi, only in the present tense. So the word anfaqu with a waw now means they spend or they spent. Past tense. Now this iza is playing a role in there. Iza is going to pull into the present and future. So the meaning will be when or whenever they spend, present tense. Whenever in the future, now, later on, any day whenever they spend. So the combination is important. Ida will pull into a continuous spending. Waladina, those people. Ida, whenever or when, anfaqu, they spend their wealth. Then what happens? Then come the words lam yusrifu walam yaqturu. Okay, so go back to these words now here. So the thing I want to point out is that the lam is coming twice. One time it is coming just by itself. One time is coming with the wow, walam. Okay. In English, you can translate this as neither and nor. This is neither and nor. Instead saying and in between. So this is the meaning of lam and walam. So now, first you apply lam yusrifu. Neither they waste their money by overspending. Walam nor yaqturu, they hold it back up to the point that it is miserliness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, whenever they spend their money, iza anfaqu, whenever they spend, this is the quality of the Ibadur Rahman, that neither they do israf, yusrifu, nor yaqturu, which means they hold it back and act as miserly. So these are the two qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning of Ibadur Rahman. The word I explained, yusrifu, but this word is at the same qaf, ta and ra. This means to hold back or be miser. Again, if you put a ya in the beginning and waw and noon at the end, it's a present tense. Yaqturuna. Okay. Yaqturuna means they hold back. They are being miserly. Okay. But when you put lam before that, lam takes away this noon Arabi, so it becomes lam yaqturu. That's the word in the Quran. When you add the waw, you can translate nor or and not. And not is nor. So they do not waste their money and they do not hold it back, being miserly. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wakana baina dhalika qawama. Kana, wa means and. Kana is, it is, or there is. Okay. Whatever it is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and there is. There is. Baina means between. It's a common word. Bain is also used in Urdu. Baina means between. Dhalika means that. It's a pointing to spending. Dhalika means that. And this word that in the sentence is pointing to if spending this way or the other way. Thanks. Kana baina dhalika, and it is, or there is, it is between these two. Dhalika is a pointer which is pointing to either anfaqu or the spending in two different ways. It is in between that they actually spend, which means they are not on both sides. So after that is the word qawama. Qawama is from the root letters qaf, waw and mim. And this has multiple meanings. One of the meaning is to stand up. Okay, qiyam, qaim, all those things are. The word qawamun is actually the one. When you make the noun, it is qawamun with the two shabdas pesh here. Qawanum means have a balance, being in a moderate state, in between. So there is spending wakana baina zalika, their spending is actually in a balanced way between the two limits. So that is neither they are wasting nor they are being miserly, but in between they find the best combination to spend their money, their resources for whatever cause they are using. They are not over spending or holding it back. So, so the word is qawamun, but it is coming as a khabar of kana or maful of kana. So when that happens, these two, the mas change to two fathas, and you add an alif and you pronounce qawaman, but when you stop, you say qawama. Okay, that's the rule of the tajweed, that if you stop when there are two fathas at the word, then you pronounce one alif there. So it is qawama. Walladhina, then the next ayat again talks about these Ibadur Rahman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Walladhina, and those are the people, La yad'una. Okay, so the word, the root letters are dal, ain, and waw. And the meaning of this is to call or to make dua or to invoke, the multiple meanings. But dal and waw came. Then again, use the same template that we learned. Put a ya in the beginning, waw of a jama, and noon of noon Arabi. So this becomes yad a wuna. There was these three letters were already there. We just added a ya and wuna. Now, in the recitation, these two are just the letters of the sound of O. So we drop one of them, okay, and pronounce yaduna. Yaduna means they call, or they are calling, or they are making dua, or they are invoking. Multiple meanings, they can all of them apply. So here noon is going to stay there. Only two vowels were there. This is sound, we dropped one of them. Yaduna, they call. La yaduna, they do not call. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning another characteristics of these people who are the Ibadur Rahman. Then when they call, they don't do one thing. What is that they don't call? Ma'allahi, common word. Ma'a means with. Ma'a means with. And the word is Allahu. The original word has Dhamma at the end and it is pronounced Allahu. Ma'a means with. And this is a preposition or harf-e-jar. Harf-e-jar looks at the next word, noun, and changes Dhamma to a kasra. And then you don't pronounce this alif in between. So it becomes Hamzatul Wasl. It becomes Ma'allahi, with Allah. They do not call with Allah or along with Allah. What is that they don't call? Ilahan akhara. So the word is ilahun. Ilahun means any deity or any god. Ilahun is the word. And this means God. Okay. Akhara is another word. Akhara means another one or the last one. There are multiple meanings of that. So now this word is ilahun and this one is akhara and the root meaning is other. Okay. Now this word ilahun is coming as a subject or object or maful of yad'una. So when that happens, two dhammas change to two fathas and we add an alif there. So this can be written by this combination as E, La, Hun. This way it is written. Ilahan. Actually, originally this is Ilahun. Okay. So this will change to two fathas as a maful. So it becomes Ilahan. Ilahan meaning is same God. So a deity, a false god. Generally here is a false god. Akhara means other. Okay. So when you make a noun of these things, it is written or pronounced as a, these two letters, and khara. Khara means akhara means any other one, later one, akhar. Ilahan akhara, other God, any other God. La yaduna, they do not call. Ma'allahi, with Allah. Ilahan akhara, any other false deity, false God, they do not call, they do not commit shirk. One quality. Next quality in the same ayat is wala yaqtuluna nafsallati. Again, format is the same. Qatala means to kill. And we use the same template, ya in the beginning and waw for plural and noon as a noon Arabi. So this becomes yaqtuluna. Yaqtuluna means they kill, they do qatl. But the word is la before that. La means not. So they do not kill. Okay? So they do not kill. La taqtuluna, which is word in the Quran, they do not do the killing. They do not kill. What is that they do not kill? Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the word an-nafsa. So let's understand that word. Root letters are noon, fa, and sin. Nafasa. It has multiple meanings. The noun is nafsun. Nafsun here is a person. And because this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about people living on the earth, this is a human being. This nafsun can be a male or a female. It can be a man or a woman. Okay? But this is a person living on the earth with a physical body and soul inside the body. That is nafsun. Then you put al before that. Al brings the meaning of the person. Okay. Now al will change to the must to one, and when you pronounce these together, you do not pronounce lam because noon is a shamsi letter, so it becomes an-nafsu. The word is an-nafsu. So I'm going to rewrite this thing because it's very important. We understand it correctly. You write lam, but you do not pronounce the noon twice. An-nafsu. The word is seen has a dam on it. An-nafsu. The person, the human being. It could be male or female. Even though grammatically this is a feminine word. Oh, okay. Mistake. An-nafsu. Yes. An-nafsu means a person or the person. Okay, now this is coming as an object or maf'ul of yaqtuluna. So when that happens, we change last letter to a fatha. So it becomes an-nafsa. Then you read them together. Yaqtulu, there's a noon of yaqtuluna which will combine with this noon. So you don't pronounce alif in between. So wala yaqtuluna nafsa. They do not kill a person. Then Allah further says the definition of this person, who this person is. The word after that is being used is allati. As I mentioned that these are the two words. Allazi is a pronoun and this means it, but this is for masculine, so he. The word allati with a ta, this is allazi, and this is allazi. la, ti. So this is it also, but this is used for feminine, she. Because soul is feminine in gender, in the usage. So we are using the feminine word. Allati, but in English it will be it. Wala yaqtuluna nafs allati, they do not kill a person which is or it is. What is about it? Harramallah. So let's look at the details of this word. Root letters are harama. And we know many words of this, the three letters. Fa'ala. We are going to make a bigger word by adding a shadda on the middle letter. So this becomes harrama. So what's the difference between these two? Harama is something which is forbidden or something which is sacred. Okay, and there are many words, Masjid Haram and Tahrim and Haram object or this. Harama means to make something unlawful, to make something haram. So when it is being done, it is between two parties. One is making haram upon someone and the other person is taking that as something which is forbidden or haram. So that is the word here. So harrama, if I put fatahs on each of them, harrama means he, third person, made it lawful, made it haram, made it forbidden. But the word is after that is Allah. So he will go away and the combined word harramallahu will mean Allah has made it forbidden. Allah has made it not permissible. Allah has made it haram. A soul that Allah has made haram, they don't kill. But there is a case where Allah has permitted, if someone has killed a person and as a retribution of that, as a payment of his crime, that person to meet the justice can be executed. So there it is allowed. But other than that, that's the reason the two words after that, illa bil haqqi. Illa means except. Haqq means the truth or justice. Except the justice is being done, other than that, it is not permissible, it is haram, it is forbidden to kill another person, except to meet the requirements of the justice. Which means if that person has done a crime, that crime meets the requirement of execution, then it is permissible. Other than that, Allah says these people, la yaqtuluna, they do not kill, an-nafsa, a human being, allati harramallah, that Allah has forbidden, not allowed that that person should be killed, except to meet the requirements of the justice, which is illa bil haqq. The next thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning are the root letters za, noon and ya. The meaning of these three letters is to commit adultery. Okay, the word zina is from here. Okay, again do the same thing, put a ya in the beginning, waw of plurality and noon as the noon Arabi. So this will become, if I pronounce yazna, yuna, okay, but this ya is just an extra sound and this has a mismatch on it, which is the sound of dhamma. So what we say, we move the sound back on this one and we drop this thing. So it becomes yaznuna. Yaznuna means they commit adultery. Then lies before that. So Allah says they do not commit adultery. Okay, that's another quality of Ibadur Rahman. Then Allah says, وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ. Now this is, I explained in the beginning, now a Jumla Shartiya is starting. Okay, so fa'ala is to do. So root letters are fa and lam. and the meaning is to do. And when you put a ya in the beginning and pronounce yaf'alu, ya, this is the template, yaf'alu. This waw, this lam with a dhamma and ya in the beginning brings the meaning of third person present tense, he does. Okay. Now we want to make it a conditional or shartiya jumla. So we put a man before that. Man means whoever. Whoever or anybody. First thing this will do, it will remove this he from here. Second thing it will do, it will change the last letter to a sukoon. So meaning will be whoever does. Okay. Now in the tajweed, when ya and noon come together, it becomes adgham, and you pronounce mai. So you put a shadda here and pronounce ya without noon. Mai yaf'al. Wa means and before that. Mai yaf'al, whoever does. What whoever does? Zalika. Zalika is a pointer. It's pointing to all these things which are being mentioned above. Or haram Allah, killing a nafs person, calling other than Allah any partner, committing the adultery. All these are things, forbidden things. So Allah saying, whoever would do these things, then there's a penalty for him. What is that? Lam, Qaf, and Ya. The meaning of these three is to meet. The word mulaqat is from the same root letters. To meet. Laqaya. We want to use the template of by putting a ya in the beginning. Yaf'alu, he does. So put yalqayu. And the meaning will be he meets or he will meet. But because it's talking about the future, so we will translate he will meet or he will come across or see. He will meet. So the word by the template is yalqayu. Okay. Now, this is the word which is being used as a jawab-e-shart. So when jawab-e-shart happens, we change the last letter to a sukoon. Okay. And this is a sound. So we just drop this. It becomes yalqa. That's the word in the Quran. Yalqa means he will meet. This person this is shartiya jumla. Waman yaf'al, if he is going to do any of these forbidden things, dhalika means these things. Yalqa, then jawab-e-shart is he will meet. What is he going to meet? The word is asama. Okay, let's understand that word. Alif, sa, and mim are the root letters, and the meaning of this is to pay a penalty, okay, to meet the consequence of something. So that is the meaning of these three letters. The noun is asamun, means penalty, punishment. Okay. Now this is coming as maful of yalqa, so it will change to two fathas. And you add an alif and you pronounce asaman. When you stop, you pronounce asama. So this person is going to meet his punishment, his penalty, if he would do. So yaf'al is shart, yalqa asama is a jawab shart. Okay. So remember that in both cases, by putting man in the beginning, we have generally made it a conditional statement. Whoever would do that. Okay. And do yaf'al is the shart, yalqa asama is the jawab shart. Then he is going to meet as a result of his action, and in both cases the rule of shart is applied. Then we continue that. The next word in the next ayat, it starts with Duad, Ain and Fa. These three letters we know, Zaif means to be weak person. Okay, that is the meaning of Da'afa. Someone who is old, someone is weak, we call he is Zaif person. Zaif is in Arabic, but you speak in Urdu, Zaif. So this means that three letters, and that means to be weak person. But we are going to add an alif in these three letters here between the first and the second letter. So it becomes fa'ala. So this becomes da'afa. The meaning of da'afa is to double up something or multiply many times. So if you have something and you're doubling this something or multiplying, that is da'afa. So difference in the meaning is that three letters, da'afa means to be weak. Da'afa has a very different meaning, to double. Some places it is double, some places is multiply many times. So either is fine here. So that's the meaning of da'afa. Now, when you add a ya, it becomes the third person grammar. Ya follow, he does or it does. Okay, so this will become yudaifo. The meaning of yudaifo, it is multiplied, it is doubled. But this is coming as a jawab shart of man. So man will change this to a sukoon and it becomes yudaaf. Not if. Yudaaf. Yudaaf means it will be doubled. It will be multiplied many times, whichever is applicable. So this part is still the condition of a jawab shart. Yaf'al is one shart. Jawab is coming twice. First is coming yalqa sama. He will meet his penalty. The second is coming as something will be doubled for him then. For him. What will be doubled? Lahul azab. Common word. La means for. And who means it. Or for him. Okay. So for him, the azab will be doubled. Yuda'af will be doubled. For him, the punishment, the azab. Common word, Yawm al-Qiyamati, on the day of judgment. So here penalty may come in this worldly life, but azab will be doubled on in the hereafter for such a person who would be trying to do all these things which are listed by saying don't do, don't do, don't do. Okay. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what else will happen to him in the hereafter. Wa means end. Khalada, with the word Khalid is from the same root letters. Khalada means to abide, to live. Okay. Then if you put a ya in the beginning, it becomes yakhludu. Yakhludu. But this is coming as again a jawab shart. So this will become a sukoon again. So yakhludu means he will live, he will abide. Where? In the punishment. The azab, he is going to be doubled for him, and in that azab he is going to be living on the day of judgment in the hereafter. Fihi. Fi means in, and he is pointing to the azab. So fihi. Fi means it, and this he is pointing to the azab, punishment. So he will be abiding, he will be living in this azab, which is doubled for him, and then a condition is being mentioned. How is he going to live? Not just a simple living, but the root letters are ha, waw, and noon. The meaning of this, to be in disgrace, humiliation, insulting someone a lot. So these are the meanings of these three letters. Okay. Now, these are three letters, fa'ala. If I put alif in the beginning and make it a 4-letter words, so it becomes alif, ha, waw, and noon. Okay. When you pronounce af'alu, this sound of this waw changes into the alif, and this becomes ahana. There is a word in Urdu, ahanat. Ahanat means zillat, disgrace, humiliation, insult. This is the word, these are the roots for that one. Okay. Now, so ahana means to have zillat, to have humiliation, to have disgrace. Now, the rule is that if we put a meme in the beginning, it becomes a person. Like aslama, Muslim. You put a meme in the beginning, it becomes the person. So you put meme in the beginning and do not pronounce the alif, it becomes mohanun. First you make mu, ha, nun. Muhanun is a person who is in a constant disgrace, in a constant humiliation, constant zillat. Now, he is living yakhulud, so the zillat is his state, so this will become 2 fathas, and you add an alif, you pronounce mohanun first, and then the yakhlud will change to 2 fathas, so it will be muhanan. When you stop, you pronounce muhana. Yakhludu fihi muhana. He will be abiding, residing, living in that azab, which is doubled for him in the state of humiliation, in the state of disgrace. He is a muhanan person there, which means he's constantly being humiliated, not only being punished. So this is what the state of hereafter of a person who are doing the following things. First, la yaduna, Allah says, don't call anyone ma'allah with Allah. Wala yaqtuluna nafsa allati haram Allah. Don't kill a person whom Allah has forbidden to be killed. Wala yaznoon. They don't commit adultery. Then Allah says, if any person is going to do these things which are mentioned in this ayat, his penalty is severe. In the hereafter, his azab is doubled, and that is an azab of disgrace and humiliation. So these are the meanings. The ayats continue about Ibadur Rahman. So inshallah we'll continue with them. And at this point we can stop, inshallah. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. May Allah give us tawfiq to understand the Quran and act upon it. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. So